Welcome to this quick read-through of a letter from a Westville Correctional Facility inmate housed in the same unit that Richard Allen is being housed in. Dear Clerk of Courts, I am an inmate at Westville Correctional Facility in the same unit that Richard Allen is being housed in, awaiting trial. Richard Allen is being abused and mistreated along with other inmates in Westville Control Unit restrictive housing. There are corrupt officers and ranking officers calling Richard Allen a kid killer, teasing him that he has a visit from his family. Phone is ringing on his tablet. Inmates in cells A1, 102, Logan Osborne, A2, 207, inmate Riley, inmate cell A2, 204, and A2, 205 threatening to kill Richard Allen and telling him to kill himself. And these inmates have made these comments in front of Warden John Galapio, ranking officers, and officers. The staff has recorded on camera these inmates making these threats and suggestions to kill himself and have done nothing to stop it. I have proof and evidence of assaults by ranking officers and officers on inmates, abuse and mistreatment. In grievance and the Governor's Office of Ombudsman Bureau that have been mishandled and covered up because the Indiana Department of Corrections is allowed to police itself with their Office of Investigation Intelligence. I recently sent letters to the U.S. Department of Justice from Indiana State Representative Dr. Vernon G. Smith and from the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee concerning the DOJ and FBI mishandling complaints on the Indiana Department of Correction and their facilities. On March 21st, 2023, while in the same unit as Richard Allen, I attempted suicide and spent 3 days in the hospital due to staff and officer abuse and mistreatment. On April 9, 2022, I attempted suicide and spent 4 days in the hospital intensive care unit. The Indiana Department of Corrections or their mental health provider has provided me no mental help or treatment. I correspond with a New York Times investigative reporter and her team at the University School of Law and have made them aware of the assaults, abuse, and mistreatment going on here at Westville Correctional Facility and the other Indiana Department of Correction facilities. Please forward this letter to the judge in Richard Allen's case and to his attorneys because I have wrote to the organizations mentioned to expose the assaults, abuse, and mistreatment. Respectfully submitted and sincerely, Robert P. Barton. Robert P. Baston. Number 209210, Westville Correctional Facility, A2206. 5501 South 1100 West, Westville, Indiana, 46391. P.S. Richard Allen's attorneys just exposed the abuse and mistreatment in the news media and filed an emergency petition in the court. Carroll County Clerk of Courts, 101 West Main, Delphi, Indiana, 46923. Filed April 28, 2023. This was written April 11, 2023. Now, there are many who will read this letter and call bullshit. They will say, this inmate is just trying to get something. They will say there's no validity or substantive proof of these claims. However, we have an early phone call by another inmate who at the time said the same thing, that Richard Allen was, they were screaming and yelling at him constantly, telling him to kill himself, that he was going to be killed. You tell me, what would this gentleman receive? What kind of special treatment would he receive due to a complaint letter that he knew the facility would read before sending? Possibly bringing some retribution upon himself, knowing the warden may read it, possibly bringing suffering upon himself. This gentleman is a whistleblower. You combine that with the fact that Richard Allen's appearance has deteriorated. Since his phone call in which he allegedly confessed to his wife. Now, there's no doubt that the stress of the situation has taken its toll on Mr. Allen, who is a pretrial detainee, who has not been convicted of a crime, who is awaiting due process. Reading this language, this inmate seems extremely clear in his thoughts, extremely balanced and thought out in his writing. This letter is chocked full of detail. He names names. He gives cell numbers. And he clearly lays out that there is evidence of his claims. Now understand that the defense would benefit from a letter like this. So are our naysayers going to claim that the defense somehow caused this letter to come about? This appears to me to be an independent, intelligent human being expressing concern not only for himself, but for other inmates. Richard Allen being a pretrial detainee as one. Is Indiana trying to cause a mistrial in this case? Because it certainly does appear so. Okay, we have a plethora of evidence of maltreatment in this facility and in the state as a whole. The recent release of these documents has caused more concern than anything on my part. Yes, there are people running with the narrative that he confessed to killing Abby and Libby, which I don't buy. We have no transcripts of those confessions. We don't know if he's admitting involvement, if he is declaring that he was the actual murderer. We know he was eating paper. Okay, we know he was eating his attorney's paper documents in his cell. He was going for days on end without eating. He broke his devices, or his iPad, tablet, whatever you want to call it. We know he looks like he's been starved for 4 months. He's likely medicated. As I've said before, I do believe he was involved. We've known from the beginning that the other inmates were threatening him, intimidating him, not letting him sleep, etc. There are two documents in this collection that I find most important, and this is one. Now, if we want to allow Richard Allen to walk, I think we're on the right track. Okay. The search warrant and the receipt for what was gathered is extremely lacking. There were many claims that were rumors that do not pan out. Okay. So what are we looking at with one Richard Allen? There will be some who will come behind me and say that this doesn't happen. Law enforcement is not corrupt. The prison system is perfect. Usually those are ones who have worked for law enforcement and or the prison system. Generally abuse human beings in general, but especially those they feel superior to, such as inmates in these facilities. We have companions, other inmates, babysitting Richard Allen, talking to him, getting him to talk, possibly intimidating him quietly. So what on earth is any of his alleged confessions, what good is that going to do if they were all produced as a result of duress? We're heading towards a mistrial. Just a moment before closing, I'd like to say hi to the chat. Welcome in Sunflower and Rachel. Speculation Room, thank you. Thank you for saying hello and supporting. Town, thank you and welcome in. Charlotte, welcome in. Aaron says, I find the inmate as credible as the Carroll County Sheriffs. Yeah, even more so. Welcome in K West. Aaron says, on second thought, twice as credible because the account matches much other info about the facility and the system. Absolutely, 100%. Welcome in Yaya Kelly. Yaya says, this was very distressing for me. Yes, Indiana is trying to fuck around and see what happens. Funny how the state never mentioned that. Yeah, exactly. K West says, could be mixing fact with fiction on behalf of Allen to help him, and the admittance was early on. Phone calls to his missus, which stands out to me as very concerning. Yaya says, any correspondence going in or out? Or read, yes. So this letter would only have made it tougher. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. This would have been brought to the attention of the warden, who likely could have and may have exercised some sort of retaliation. And supposedly no one's ever heard of false confessions, although we have many in the prison system, some who have been cleared after 20, 30 years due to false confessions. As I said, I believe Richard Allen was there that day and participated in the event. Brandon says, yes, it's heading for a mistrial. Yeah, looking like it. Looking like it. Is that the objective? For armpits, you are nowhere near as smart as the real K West. For armpits is not. Nancy Drew 101. Good morning. Good morning, Nancy Drew. Mother of Dragons, good morning. Charlotte, good morning again. Something to say says good morning. Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday. I am going to take full advantage of my Friday and enjoy my day. Yaya says, I'll believe the confession when I hear a recording of it, not a transcript. Yes, and the several confessions, right? The several, compare, contrast. Do any of these details from these confessions match what was found at the crime scene? Only investigators would know. As I mentioned multiple times, I believe he was there. I believe he kidnapped the girls at gunpoint. I do not believe he killed the girls. Spicy Cappy, welcome in and thank you. And Mother of Dragons, again, welcome in and thank you. Yes, tone of voice and corroborating details. Okay. Anna Lisette, welcome. Welcome. And the legal documents say admissions. His attorneys say incriminating statements. Of course, the prosecution is going to say confessions. I believe he participated in the event that led to the death of the girls. If he admitted that much, that would be great, and it would be more likely accurate. There's nothing leading any of us to believe that no one else was involved in this situation. We've had indications all along that there were others, multiples involved, even recently, even from prosecutor Nick McClelland. Is Richard Allen being thrown under the bus to make this investigation go away? What happened to the other actors? Imagine the concern this individual must have had to cause him to write this letter. Certainly, you know that he pays for the pencils, he pays for the paper, he pays for the stamps and the envelopes. This letter is well written in both syntax and penmanship. It's full of details. It's possibly going to cause some backlash on the part of the author. Richard Allen is a pre-trial detainee. It could be you, it could be me, it could be your son, your brother, your mother, your cousin. Yes, very articulate, Yaya Kelly. This is a well-written letter. Straight to the point. He used 3 pages of paper and an envelope. Or possibly 2 pages, one being front and back. I believe it's 3 pages. Yeah, exactly, Town. They keep telling me I murdered Abby, to say I murdered Abby and Libby all day, all night. Just say I killed them. They say they're going to kill me. They say I'm the killer. I'm medicated. I'm constantly in the presence of some other inmate babysitting me. This could be us. Yes, the cell phones. What do I think about the cell phones? Here's what I think. I think you got some of the daughter's old phones, some of the wife's old phones, some of Alan's old phones. Because what happens, they come in, they're going to take everything you would have had access to, not just your things. I highly doubt that it was 17, 18 phones of Alan's. It was probably a handful from each of the residents. And that usually happens. I likely have 4 to 5 phones laying around here at this moment. There was not a single mention of things that have been spread around the rumor mill for years now. This entire collection of documents. I said before, what is missing? Read through the documents. Understand what you're not seeing. I'm not going to list them here. I'm saving them for a live. There's some extremely important points that are totally missing from this collection of documents. Understanding that we have approximately 19 documents that are still under seal, but do those 19 contain any of these data points that have been spread around for years regarding this case? What is missing? Ask yourself. Where are the other actors? Ask yourself. Where are the tentacles? Where is the most extremely complex thing I've ever stood in front of in my 40 years career? Where is the embodiment of evil in society? Is all of that contained in Richard Allen's simple confession to his wife? Look at the witness list. Understand what you're seeing on the witness list. We will do a part 2 in which we cover another document very soon in a similar manner. Thanks everyone for jumping in to listen. If you're on the replay, hope you enjoyed the read through. Please hit like, leave a comment. Take your time and download a copy of the documents and peruse them at your leisure. Brandon says, what is missing is what actually happened. That's what I'm saying, Brandon. Think about what is not in this collection of documents. It's not that hard. I don't want to discuss it now, but think about the individuals and scenarios that are not contained in these documents. Where are the tentacles? The witness contained in the documents are the witnesses. Witness list is not looking too good. Okay, West, apologies. Don't know what's going on. But I'm not here to really try to deal with trolls in the chat and whatever might be going on. I just wanted to go through this document quickly for those who have not read it. We'll work it out in the live. The naysayers will look at this document and pretend it's nothing. And what you're going to have is a jury, if it ever gets that far, looking at this entire situation and saying, we can't do anything with Richard Allen. Is that the goal? Okay? Write your senators, representatives, governor. Thanks everyone again for stopping in. Hit the like on the way out. And thank you for your input in the chat. God bless and have a great Friday.